Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, if you can't tell by my appearance, I must be filming another yarn review. So, I always start these videos when I look like I just woke up because I did, and I like to start my day with a new cast on, okay? So I finished up the sample knit I was working on, so now it's time to finally work on a project for myself again. And I have this Sweet Georgia Flaxen Silk Fine yarn, which is a fingering weight yarn. You get 480 yards. It's 65% silk and 35% linen, and this is in the colorway Pumpkin. See if you can see all of that good stuff. Nope. Oh, there, kinda. It's a little blurry, but you get the idea. So I am a Sweet Georgia ambassador, so I did get this yarn through my ambassador program for free, but I want to do a fair review for you guys based on my thoughts and opinions of it, not because I got it for free. So this is the first time that I'm using a blend of silk and linen. It's the first time I'm using silk. It's the first time I'm using linen. So this should be fun. I've heard a lot of things about this. I did get a message when I posted about it on my Instagram stories about how the skeins are a little bit messy and hard to wind because there's a lot of knots and tangles and things like that in there, and I've heard it from several people since then, so I'm a little concerned because these do look a little bit messy. A local yarn shop owner, Andrea at 614 Knit Studio, she recommended that I hand ball it up instead of using a yarn winder, and I know I should listen to that advice, but I think I'm gonna try to use my yarn winder, even though it's terrible. But first impressions is it's got a really interesting texture. It's like linen-y, but it's like silky. I don't know how to explain it. It's very, very strange. Doesn't have a lot of stretch, so it might hurt my hands a little bit. I did find a top online that I'm going to make with this, and I am gonna alternate skeins. It does recommend that. This is a Canadian dyer. If you guys aren't familiar with Sweet Georgia, I'm sure you are. She's incredible, but she's from Canada. Shipping is relatively fast if it's in stock. I think I got this in less than a week. So yeah. Also, I think it's about $32 Canadian a skein. I could be wrong on that. I will definitely put it on the screen as well. But first impressions are I love the color. It's what I was going for. It's just this very vibranty orange color. I think it'll be perfect for summer, and I quite like this color on me. Soft, it's very soft and silky, because like I said, it's 65% silk, so it's very high quality, I guess, in the silk department, but it's also got that kind of linen-y quality. I don't have 100% linen yarn here, but I can definitely feel that content in here, and I'm very excited to try it out because I want a nice summer top that I can wear everywhere. And so I'm gonna wind this up and I'll let you guys know how that went as well. Yeah, first impressions are I'm very excited about it. It's been sitting in my stash for a while and I've just been looking at it, and it's time to create with it because I'm excited to try something new, and that's not wool. This is the first time I'm not using wool. I always use wool, so yay, let's go. So I just finished winding the first skein, and I just want to show you guys it is a bit messy. We got fibers everywhere. I'm almost assuming, you can see here, that might be from the linen content of it. It's also all over my phone right now, so it's making it very hard to see what I'm filming, but it winded pretty well on here. It's got all in my nose, and my nose is all itchy now, but I didn't have too hard of a time. It was just like slightly harder to wind than a wool yarn. It kept getting like stuck on itself while on the Swift, but it wasn't too much worse than like a wool yarn that I'm used to. I didn't have any knots or tangles in this one, so I'm going to slide this one off and then do the other one, and I'll show you guys how that one went as well. So here's our first one. Also, my ball winder is from Michael's and it sucks, so that's why it looks like this. Yeah. All right, on to number 2. So I wanted to show you guys on the Swift, this is kind of why it gets a little bit caught up and tingly. You can see it's not like the neatest hank ever. It's definitely got these spots that are like tangled up a little bit, but really I didn't have any problems. I didn't have to stop and like undo any knots or anything. I just had to like gently pull apart a couple of things, but it wasn't too bad, and this one looks a lot less bad than the other one, so I think this one will go a lot smoother. It does make my nose very itchy when I wind this, but other than that, it's going pretty well. Okay guys, so I just finished caking the second one, and I am covered in fiber. It's probably all over my face, it's probably all in my hair. So it's very messy, it's all over the place. It's all over the table here. You probably can't tell, but it's definitely very messy. It's making my nose incredibly itchy. So I have a feeling it's going to shed while I'm knitting with it as well. I think that's the linen content in there. Again, I'll let you know. I'll probably do a little more research on that. We'll see. I had no issues caking it up. I did hear a lot of people say that they had issues with that based on like having lots of knots and stuff in it. But I think that was a while ago, and their quality control has upped its game for this particular yarn especially. But I was told if there were more than 2 knots in it to contact their customer service, and their customer service is really fantastic. So if you decide to try this yarn out, I also have it in a DK base, and it's kind of the same thing. If you have more than 2 knots in it, definitely just contact customer service and they'll help you out. Like Sweet Georgia, they have a really great team. So this is the fiber from the desk that I wound on, so it definitely sheds a lot, and like I said, my nose is so itchy. So I'm all done caking, and I'm going to cast on, and I'll come back to you after I worked with it for a little bit, and I'm very excited. So yeah. So it's been quite some time since I filmed an update for this yarn review of this yarn here, and I just wanted to come on here before I finish this top off. Finally, it's been well over a year now since I've started it, and I'm ready to have it done. But I just wanted to show you, I did switch skeins of yarn. Let me see. Right around here. And I alternated for like 2-3 rows, and then I got over it. So I think that the skeins were pretty consistent because I don't really see a line or anything. I think the variegation does help a little bit. There was like slight bits of pooling, but I don't really think you can see it whenever you're wearing it or holding it up or anything. It just looks intense right now on camera since it's laying down. And then I guess, I don't know, there are little bits in the yarn that look like pills. You could definitely cut it off. But I think that's the linen quality of this yarn. You're gonna get that. I think there's linen in this. Maybe it's cotton. I can't even remember at this point. I guess I'll have it on the screen to verify whatever I'm saying. But there were just a couple of spots like that. But I haven't had any breaks in the yarn or anything weird happening. This is so stretchy, and I was just sitting on the couch last night, and it was sitting next to me, and I looked over at it, and I was like, that looks such high quality. So I really like this yarn. I can't wait to finish this top, get it blocked, and see how it blocks out a little bit. Not that it needs it. It's super drapey already, and I don't know. I can't wait to see it all done. Finally. So once I finish this top, I will come back to you, show it pre-blocked and then post-blocked like I always do. But I just wanted to do one final update because it's been a really long time. So yes, let's finish this top. All right, so I have finished the top. Finally, after a year, it feels so good to have it off my needles. But this is what it's looking like so far. Before blocking, I haven't blocked it yet, so it's got a little bit flipping up here in the back due to the bind off, and yeah, so that's what it's looking like. I just want to say a couple of things about this top. Well, this yarn, I should say, because that's what this video is about. This yarn was very easy to work with. I know initially whenever I was going to use it, I had heard some things that it kind of had a lot of knots in it, that they like tied the ends together, this and that. I didn't find that at all with my yarn. It was in perfect condition. I had no issues with it splitting or anything. It does shed a little bit when you work with it. As you guys saw when I wound up the yarn initially, there was like a lot of debris coming off of it. I found that it continued to do that as I knit, but it wasn't as bad since you're not going so fast and winding it. But it did make my nose a little itchy here and there. So just keep that in mind if you're sensitive to things like that. But The yarn is so like thick, like it's not hot, like wool thick. It's just like very high quality, like silk linen high quality. So just looking at it, it looks high quality and I love that. This top that I made, this is the Cloudsley by Isabel Kramer. It has like a little design in the back which uses some cabling, and I decided to do that without a cable needle, and it was totally fine for me. This stitches, you know, they do drop easily because there's nothing to catch with these fibers, so it's very silky. It does just drop, so be careful with that. If you drop a lot of stitches, this may not be a fun yarn for you to use right now. But it didn't hurt my hands when I was trying to do the cabling or anything, even though this yarn doesn't have, the yarn itself doesn't have a lot of stretch, but the fabric it creates stretches. So I found it didn't really hurt my hands. I know that that was initially something I was concerned about. It would hurt my hands when I was knitting with it, but the gauge that I used for this pattern and everything, it really felt fine. I don't have any complaints. My hands feel fine. It took me over a year to knit this project, and even after all that time passed and I kind of stopped knitting for a while, I still didn't find that it hurt my hands. It was actually very enjoyable to knit with, so I do recommend this yarn for any summer projects or anything like that. I do know that it comes in a DK weight as well, the exact same base but in DK weight, so maybe that's something you'd be more interested in if you don't like fingering weight, but I personally really like fingering weight yarn. I think it just has a nice, I don't know, drape, and it's thin. I like that. It just feels high quality. I don't know. I'm gonna go block this. So I'm going to block it the exact same way I normally would. I'm going to put it in some lukewarm water. I do predict that there will be a little bit of bleeding from this yarn just because of the color. So that's not gonna surprise me. It's all one color, so I don't mind if that happens, but I'm gonna do a little lukewarm water with some wool wash, and then I'm just gonna lay it flat to dry. I'm probably not gonna pin it at all. I don't think it needs it. And yeah, I will come back to you and show you guys what it looks like when it's all blocked. So it looks pretty good right now. It's got a decent amount of drape. We're hoping for a little more, and I'll see you guys after that's done. Guys, so I'm ending this video the same way I started it, fresh out of bed. So please ignore my appearance. So the top is all done. It has a seam in it because I had it folded overnight. Sorry about that. But here is the drape of it. You can see it settled down in the back quite a bit. I did not pin anything on this. I just stuck water bottles in the sides, and then I stuck water bottles in the like shoulder area. And this pattern was a little weird the way that the shoulders are done. It has like an inset seam or shoulder, and it kind of is weird. It has no flaw from the yarn at all, but I just wanted to mention that about this pattern if you're gonna make it, because I'm not making a separate video on this pattern. But the yarn feels amazing, very high quality. I really like it. I would definitely knit something with this yarn again. I would probably even use the DK version of this yarn to make a quicker project, but overall I am very happy with the outcome of this project, no matter how long it took me. I'll give you a little close-up so you can see the stitch definition of it. So it looks pretty good. It's a little sheer, like I don't think I can really see through it, but I think if you were wearing something like really dramatic underneath of it, you would be able to tell, but other than that, I think it's fine. It's very breathable. Like I could totally wear this outside with the way the weather has been, which has been almost 100 degrees every day. So let me adjust this a little bit. So whenever I took it out of the water from blocking, there was quite a bit of yellow dye in there. So I actually expected it to kind of be like a bright orange, but it was very yellow. So just keep that in mind if you do multiple colors and you use a bright color like this. It's probably gonna bleed. It's probably gonna bleed regardless of the color you use, just because of the content. I feel like with cotton or linens and silks, it's hard to like keep that dye as vibrant in the yarn. So getting all of the dye out is probably a struggle for the dyers. So just know it's probably gonna bleed. So I would recommend one of those like color catchers or putting it in cold water. But since this was a solid color top, I just went ahead and put it in lukewarm water because I had been working on it for over a year, and I had it in a bag, which was in a box, which made it kind of get a little smelly. So I really wanted to wash it in something that was going to, you know, get the smell out. And overall, I think it's a great yarn. I highly recommend. I didn't have any issues with it, really, like I said. There are a couple of spots where it has like the pilling, and I think over time it'll continue to do that pilling just because it's got the linen in it. That's very common with linen. So if that bothers you, maybe not go for a linen yarn. It was pretty easy on my hands, like I said. The yarn itself doesn't have a lot of stretch, but once you knit it up with the right gauge, it has plenty of stretch, I've noticed, so it didn't hurt my hands at all. The color is great, very vibrant. It was called Pumpkin, and I would say pretty pumpkin-y. I didn't find any sort of, I mean, it looks like it pulled a little bit, like a little bit of flashing, but it's very consistent through the whole piece. And where I changed skeins, there's no dramatic change at all. I did alternate for like 2 or 3 rounds, and then I was over it because I just did not want to work on this piece anymore. So I was not about to just keep alternating, especially since there's a pattern in the back, which I will show you the definition of that as well. So that is how the pattern came out. Sorry, this is incredibly awkward. I don't know where to film, and I don't feel like setting up a tripod. But yeah, highly recommend this yarn. I think it was great, even after working with it over the span of a year plus. I still enjoyed it from the moment I started until the moment I ended, except for the part where I wound it up because there were like fuzzies everywhere and it was all up in my nose, and I hate that. It made it all itchy. So just beware if you are going to be using this yarn. When you wind it up, it's gonna get everywhere. So yeah. Anyways, Sweet Georgia's Flaxen Silk Light, or just Flaxen Silk. They have the DK version. This is just the fingering weight version. Highly recommend if you guys are looking for a fun summer yarn that has some good drape and it's going to keep you cool in this weather, but you still want to wear some knits. Yeah. I also just want to mention, sorry, at the beginning of this video, I said I was an affiliate with Sweet Georgia, and it's been over a year, so the program for me has ended. So I am no longer an affiliate. There's no affiliate link or anything down below. I will just have the Sweet Georgia website. You can go straight there and purchase your yarn. I will not get any kickback from that. So if that bothered you at the beginning of the video, now we are not there. The program has ended for me, and I am just a regular customer of Sweet Georgia, and I do recommend the yarn. I did get this yarn for free, but I'm not being paid to talk about it or give any biased opinion. This is just how I feel about the yarn. So, all right. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!